Hello and welcome back. I'm Dr. Lori Williams. And today I want to answer the question of, can broken trust and loss of respect ever be restored in a relationship? So essentially it can, yes, but it's going to take both parties, both individually and together, having an understanding and being able to recognize what is broken within the relationship, and then, like I said, individually and together, coming together to fix what is broken within the relationship. So the person who has broken the trust or been the cause of the loss of respect, their first step is going to be full acknowledgement and full ownership of all the things that's their responsibility in the breakdown of the relationship. Now, that doesn't mean that the other person doesn't have responsibility in it as well. It takes two people to make or break a relationship, and even the person that wasn't necessarily the active part of the breakdown of the relationship, there is still responsibility that's going to be there as well, and that needs to be looked at. It could be, looking at what you've tolerated, what you've maybe not fully honest with, either with yourself or with the other person about. So there's always things that both parties can do to be able to take their ownership in the breakdown of the relationship. This is the biggest piece of it, is open, honest communication. A lot of the times relationships break down because of lack of open, honest communication. Now, when I say open, honest communication, that doesn't mean lashing out in anger, belittling, name calling. That is not healthy at all. And that's just emotional abuse. So you don't want to bring anything like that into the communication. You want to keep it very much of like I statements of like, I feel this way, or I understood what you said, or how I took this is, and fill in those blanks. I statements is definitely the mature adult way to have open, honest communication. The next is definitely making sure that both parties, that their words and their actions align. The truth of it is, words are a dime a dozen. At the end of the day, they're really nothing. It's the actions that are going to prove if there's changes being made, and truly it's the actions that depict whether or not the other person or both parties in the relationship actually matter to each other. Because that's the truth of it, is when we're going through hard times in the relationship, if somebody can just be easily thrown away and tossed to the side, obviously they didn't mean that much to you, and maybe you love them once but you don't anymore, whatever that scenario looks like for you. But this is where the open, honest part comes in. The communication is recognizing that, hey, you know what, I've lost feelings for this person. I just don't feel the same way about them anymore. I think it's time to move on. You've got to be able to have that kind of communication. Because no matter what your words are, your actions are going to show the truth. And it's only a matter of time. You can, try to smooth these things over by saying all the right words and making the other person feel absolutely great. This is also known as love bombing. You can do all of that, and they may 100% soak it all up, and because they want so much to believe in you. But at the end of the day, the actions are going to speak way louder than those words ever did. It's only a matter of time. So both people also need to have very strong boundaries, very clear boundaries to help them feel safe, and to allow them just to show up 100% authentically as they are. So this might include like emotional boundaries, like, hey, I just need some space, or recognizing like when one or both parties are being triggered. That's, hey, you know what, this is getting a little bit emotionally charged. This relationship is getting a little bit emotionally charged. Let's just go away from it and we can come back to it. Recognizing these things will definitely help to curb any future misunderstandings, or of essentially like hurt feelings in the future. The next, and just as important, would be to ensure that both parties, both people in the relationship, are committed, like fully committed to growth as individuals, and to growth as a couple, or as two people in a relationship. Because I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. This goes for friendships, working relationships. It doesn't matter what it is. So when you are both committed to growth, committed to understanding the other person, that's when everything really opens up in the relationship, to be able to work on yourself, to work on the relationship as a whole. And then, I mean, that might look like, individual counseling, or like couples counseling, or, counseling. Like what I do is, I do counseling like with parents and children. I do counseling with, workplace counseling, friendship counseling. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the relationship is. We have so many different forms of relationships that you can find counseling as the couple, and I'm using that not in a romantic relationship kind of way, but for the two parties, we'll put it that way. For the two parties, they can both seek counseling individually or together, to help them to figure out, sometimes it's just nicer to have somebody on the outside looking in that can give you some clarity, and not just some clarity and some understanding, but also some active steps that you can take to help personally and as in the relationship to move forward. And last but not least, I think it's very, very important to keep in mind that the breakdown of the relationship did not happen overnight. This was not something that happened in the last day or 2 days or week or 2 weeks. This is something that has happened, a little bit of chipping away here and there over time, and it's going to take time, and it's going to take patience, and it's going to take understanding on both parties, because the truth of it is, especially for the person who has has more responsibility in losing the trust or losing the respect, they're going to have to change their ways as well. So they may still fall back once in a while on old habits. So as long as they don't stay there, and as long as they're, they take responsibility, full responsibility, and not make excuses, the other person can forgive and hopefully move forward. But it takes time. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience and a lot of effort on both sides of the relationship to be able to build it back. And I've been asked before, well, will it ever be the same as it was before? And the truth of it is why would you want it the same as it was before? It was obviously on shaky ground on some level. You may not have realized it, but it wouldn't have fallen apart if it was strong. So I encourage clients to not try to get it back to the way it was before, because that was a false sense of safety, a false sense of security. When you build a relationship back, you want to build it back stronger and authentic. And I think that should be the focus and the goal, not trying to get it back to what it was before. I hope this video helps. And if you would like my help with any kind of holistic counseling needs, whether it's personal, individual, or group sessions, please feel free to reach out to me. If you'd like to know how I can help you specifically in your situation, I do offer a free consultation, and I will leave the link to book that free consultation in the comments below. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you back here next time.